at Old Trafford, so it remains goalless Phil Jones, Steph Horton, Statman Dave in the studio, Andy Reid alongside Lee Blakeman, and Ali Maxwell from Not the Top 20 podcast joins us to chat EFL. Afternoon, Ali, how are you?
Afternoon all, yeah, really well, thank you.
Good. What's going on with Coventry?
Good question. They caught the league off guard, I think, in the first couple of months. Incredible attacking style of play, just overwhelming teams. And I think, and I'd be interested to hear what those that have played professionally and tried to win league titles will say about this, but it always strikes me that the second half of the season, when teams have more data on you, are able to analyse the way that you're playing more, are able to highlight your patterns in particular, mean that they defend differently against you. They might even attack differently against you. And if that's been the case in the last few weeks, Coventry haven't responded that well. And if they don't win today, it'll be 2 wins in 8. So they are still the league leaders, and they've got a decent points cushion, and they have been the best team up to this point. Still a long way to go, and they definitely have some questions to answer.
Well, also, the other thing, Steph, as someone who has been in this position, Frank Lampard also pointed out that you also have to get used to you being there to be shot at now. And actually teams thinking psychologically different about playing you, rather than, it's just Coventry coming into town. Yeah, it's the Championship leaders coming into town who are steamrolling inside. It's a different mentality as well.
Yeah, and it's a different pressure as well, I think. Did we expect Coventry to be probably top of the league or kind of leading that way this season? There was probably talk, but not necessarily the favourites. You think the likes of Ipswich, with the amount of money that they spent on their squad, they were probably the ones that everybody was ready to shot at. But in terms of Coventry and how they've played, I think this is a different kind of realm for Frank Lampard. I think when you're in that kind of title race, everybody says, would you rather be the chasers or would you rather be leading? And I think deep down, chasers is less pressure, because you're literally thinking, right, okay, well, it's not, we just got to do our job, and we've got to hopefully make sure that Coventry slip up. But for Coventry, is about being adaptable in this league now, I think, in terms of the way that you play, but also opposition do know you, and that's what happens in the season. You try and find a way of being a bit different to other teams and maintaining that level and that form that you've shown over the last few months.
Speaking of chasing, am I right in thinking, Ali, you think others are in the picture for automatic promotion, not just Coventry, Middlesbrough and Ipswich?
Well, I've thought way too much about this week, chappers. I kind of feel like the weekend after FA Cup third round weekend, it reminds me of being at the races when the horses go all the way to the far end of the track in the first half, and then they start getting closer to the finish line. This feels like that moment now where the games just feel more important, the results feel more important, and there's a lot of excitement. We've been doing our mid-season predictions, righting the wrongs of our pre-season predictions, which haven't aged that well in the main. And it just struck me that it seems, and not just us, but everyone that we speak to, part of the EFL fan community, everyone's picking either Coventry or Ipswich to win the league. Not many people even have Borough making the top 2. And I just think that this season is not the same as the last few years, where generally at this point it has very obviously been 2 from 3 or 2 from 4. It probably was this time last year, with Sunderland, Sheffield United, Burnley and Leeds were all very tightly packed at this point. But this season, the difference is the top teams are not as bulletproof of those teams. They are not picking up the level of points that those teams picked up. Frankly, they're just not as good or as dominant as those teams were in that league last season. And so the points gap, anyone 4th and below, if they string together 3 or 4 wins in a row, is going to be absolutely part of that conversation.
Yeah, but I'm fascinated, though. Out of those, so Millwall, as things stand, with obviously Millwall and Watford in the early games, you've got Millwall 4th, Preston 5th, and Watford 6th. Hull 7th, Stoke 8th, Wrexham 9th, and Coventry. Leicester, by winning at Coventry, are 10th on 40 points. Then you have Bristol City on 39. So that's virtually the top half. I haven't included QPR there, which will annoy QPR fans. So QPR are also the top half. So do you think any of those?
Well, this is where we can really drill down. Do I think that it is just 2 from those 3? Not necessarily. Can I highlight which of the teams 4th and below would be the most likely to chase down and make it into the top 2? Not really, because as you say, that they're so tightly packed together. What that means broadly is that over the course of this season, some of them have had some really good runs, and they've all had some slightly less good runs. You can pick holes in all of them. So right now, the apple of my eye are Watford. The way that they've been playing recently, I mean, it seems a bit obvious because they won 3 games over Christmas. Wrexham won 4 games over Christmas, so there's massive recency bias here. But certainly with Watford, having got some players back from injury, notably Georgi Chakvetadze, they're now able to field a starting 11 where Javi Gracia appears to have found the balance between having them pretty solid at the back, and then they have just an array of talent of Imran Louza and Chakvetadze, different types of player in midfield that bring quality on the ball and in creativity and in dribbling. Unbelievable pace out wide, and a sort of a group of young strikers who none of them are standout for the level, but they all do, they're all sort of chipping in, if you like. So right now, they're probably the team that I'm looking at most closely. Yeah.
I think I can probably say this because my son is a Watford fan. I don't think I've ever heard anybody, including him, go, "The apple of my eye is Watford." Let's go back to Old Trafford. Lee Blakeman.
Manchester United 0, Manchester City 0 with 5 minutes to go until half-time. City have just worked a couple of great opportunities, though. One from a corner. Ake headed it across the 6 yards area, and then Alain's header was cleared off the line as United play a ball over the top here. Fernandes, flag stays down. Fernandes round the keeper. Can he put it in? Yes, he can! And Manchester United lead in the Manchester derby, but the flag has gone up very late on this near side as Fernandes slides on his knees over on the far side. Our initial reaction was offside. We'll wait and see on the replay. He took his chance well, Bruno Fernandes. He celebrated, but the flag arrived, Andy Reid, albeit very late.
Yeah, very, very late indeed. I think we will find he's just straight offside. But again, you see, when Man United hurt this City team, it comes from a run from a little bit deeper and a forward longer pass. We've just seen it there. I think he's just straight offside. But it's that deeper run or just delaying your run a little bit longer for a longer pass and he gets through.
On one angle, Andy, he looks very offside. I wonder whether if they get it actually level, where Ake's arm is.
It looked to me like, from the angle that I seen it, like Fernandes was leaning offside.
Look at Ake's arm there, though.